Hello there. This is John Anthony Francis Wilcox, and today is Saturday, the 17th of June, 2023. How are you? Doing well, I hope. So, let's see. How would I describe this week? Semi comatose, perhaps? Uh, yeah, I did a bunch of stuff during the week. Uh, and of course, Grace Mary came by on Thursday to bring me communion and gave me a lovely late birthday gift. And that same day, I got a lovely package in the mail from my dear friend Ari with some cool swag, including this beautiful ceramic heart piece of art sculpture with music notes in it and stuff. I'll put a picture of it in the credits, along with what I've come to call Figuro generico. Figuro generico. Figuro generico. It's a it's a very generic action figure I bought so I could take some photos of it. It just seemed like it would be interesting, and it was $3 and something. It's a very generic action figure. Hence Figuro generico. And you'll see pictures of that, or a picture of that as well, in the post me talking bit after this stuff thingy. So, there you go. Let's focus on something today. Today I'd like to talk about Buddha Bar. Buddha Bar. What is this, John? For those of you who do not know, Buddha Bar are sets of two CDs of, I guess I'll call it chill out music. It's very interesting compilations of world music that have been going on now since this is the first Buddha Bar, and I think this was in. I have my glasses on and enough light beaming onto this to tell me that this was, I believe, sometime in the later 90s. And they've put out a bunch since then. I think the Buddha Bar is an actual place somewhere in the world, somewhere unknown to me. I'm sure it's in their story that's included. I would recommend you get one or two or 12 of these. Um, they're great. They're great to put on and relax. They're wonderful to put on while you're doing stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like musical wallpaper. Although it's worth your time, you definitely get drawn into it as well. A lot of stuff kind of rhythmically based and truly international in feel. Um, Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. You can't miss. And this is the very first one, and there's many others. So let me recommend that. Let me give the whole series a very high recommendation indeed. Um, Briefly, this was anniversary week. On the 13th, it was the 10-year anniversary of my stroke. Not a great anniversary, but to this day, my fingertips are still numb, and this whole side of my mouth and tongue always feel like they're burning. And I get occasional bouts of, I guess I'll say, confusion. I suppose that's the way to put it. And when I get those, I just stop everything I'm doing and just wait for it to pass. I don't get them too often, but I've noticed that. The other thing I've had since I had my stroke is what I call loop dreams, which sometimes in dream time will feel like it's a very small segment, like maybe a minute, that repeats 5, 10, 20. I've had it repeat 20, 30 more times. A little bit like a broken record in my brain. I only had those ever since I had the stroke. So, clearly in effect. Uh, and, oh, there you go. I had the wonderful Social Security Administration. I had an interview because I've been disabled for so long. and I just turned 63, they have um, forced me to officially be considered retired. So meet the new retired John. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. So the person was very pleasant and very helpful. And what does that mean? I don't know. He says I'll get a little bit more money every month, but I'll believe that as soon as I see that. And oh, today I watched a movie I've never seen, and let me recommend it. It's not easy to find though. I haven't been able to find that it's on DVD or anything. Maybe it is, and it just went past my radar. Called Reveille. Was it Reveille with Beverly or Reveille for Beverly? I think it's Reveille for Beverly. It was a 1943 film starring Ann Miller, a true wartime effort, as she is this woman who gets her own early 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. radio show for the troops, and the occasional wackiness ensues. And I believe it was Franklin Pangborn has a small role in there as well. Um, Charming little story. Anne, of course, does a spectacular dance at the end. And what I found very interesting about it is it's something that you can, once again, say a precursor to music videos. So she, for example, say, Soldier asked for this song, and it would be Take the A Train from Duke Ellington. And the camera would zoom in on the record till it got to the label, and then it would widen out, in this case, to a train, and then go to the interior of the train where Duke Ellington and his orchestra are playing the tune, which was great. They also had what was the very first film appearance of Frank Sinatra singing, I believe he was singing Night and Day. And that was cool. I forget what the piece was, but for fellow progressive fans and King Crimson, Peter Gabriel fans, a precursor to Tony Levin's what he calls his funk fingers, where they're literally these pieces of drumstick that he wears on his fingertips to get these percussive sounds on his bass. There was a guy playing stand-up bass in one of these videos in the Reveille for Beverly film, while the drummer was tapping the strings of the bass. So the guy was just fingering with one hand, the bass player, while the drummer was doing this percussive tapping on the strings, and it sounded really cool. And if anyone that's going to see Tony Levin sees this, tell him to go watch this and see that someone already thought of what he did way back in 1943. How's that for you? But I'll tell you, it was a good-hearted, lot of fun film. Um, I'm trying to think of who else was in it, and I can't think of his name, but his character was Elmer in here, and it's escaping my brain. But anyway, it was a fun piece of fluff on Turner Classic this afternoon. If you can find it, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to not sneeze. By the way, speaking of, anyway, to complete that, Reveille for Beverly, 1943, Ann Miller. Worth your time. Um, Anyone that watched my video that I did yesterday for 6 songs about dances will see there's a part where I'm going like that. And it's strictly because the whole time I was making that video, I was suppressing a wicked sneeze. So I was like, habit, 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 habit inside my head. And I had to just do anything I could because I wanted to finish it out and not have to retake the whole thing. So there you go. Anyway, what else is going on this week? I don't know. Making nachos tonight. There you go. Um, heard from some folks. Heard from my friend Gary Levin, who I hadn't heard from in over 2 years. So that's been a long time. And The cat is in the background meowing. I don't know if you hear her. Tinkerbell is like wanting attention, but she's always wanting attention. She's a cat. That's how you go. Except when you want to give a cat attention, then they don't want your attention. Anyway, that's it this time. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Meet the new retired John. Bye bye. Futuro figuro genetico.